If you are a UK pensioner, what starts on the 15th of September 2026 is not a small update. It is a genuine turning point for millions of households. 4 separate changes are landing at once, and each one carries a real deadline, a real number, and a real consequence if you miss it. This is not speculation or a rumor doing the rounds online. Every figure here comes directly from government legislation and official DWP guidance. The people who get hurt the most are always the same, the ones nobody warned in advance. Today, I am walking you through exactly what is changing, why it matters to you, and what you can still do about it. Stay until the end, because the 4th change affects nearly 4 million people, and almost nobody has heard about it yet. Let's start with the biggest shift. The state pension age itself is moving from 66 to 67, and the change begins this August. Parliament actually signed this off back in 2014, but for over a decade, it sat quietly in the background as a distant future problem. That future has now arrived, and if you were born between the 6th of March 1961 and the 5th of August 1977, this applies directly to you. Millions of people fall inside that window, workers who spent their whole lives assuming 66 was the finish line. The rollout is not instant. It is phased month by month between August 2026 and March 2028, based entirely on your date of birth. 2 people born just weeks apart can end up with completely different pension ages, so guessing is not good enough here. You need your exact date, and the only reliable way to get it is the government's state pension age calculator on Gov. UK. Why is this happening now? Because the maths behind the state pension has quietly stopped working. When the scheme launched in 1948, life expectancy sat around 66. People barely lived long enough to draw a full year of payments. Today, the average person lives past 80, some for 2 or even 3 decades after retirement. The state pension already costs the Treasury more than £100 billion a year, and that bill only grows as the population ages. Delaying eligibility is the government's chosen fix, and it is your retirement date that absorbs the impact. Second, HMRC has begun a mass mailing of tax letters, and it is already landing on doormats across the country. These are officially called Simple Assessment Notices, Form PA302, and they are not scams, they are real tax bills. Here's why so many pensioners are receiving one this year. The personal allowance is frozen at £12,570. The new full state pension for 2026 per 27 now sits at £241.30 a week, which works out well above that threshold on its own. Add even a small private pension, some savings interest, or part-time earnings, and a tax bill becomes almost unavoidable. HMRC sent over 1.3 million of these letters last year, and the number keeps climbing every single year. Miss the payment deadline, and interest starts immediately, with a further 5% surcharge added after 30 days of no action. If the figure in your letter looks wrong, you have 60 days from the date on the letter to formally challenge it. One phone call, made in time, can be the difference between a fair bill and an unfair one. If you have savings sitting outside an ISA, moving them inside one removes this problem permanently, because ISA interest is completely tax-free. Third, and this is the one that makes people genuinely angry once they understand it, the DWP overpayment recovery system. New research has confirmed that hundreds of thousands of overpayment cases every single year are caused by the DWP's own mistakes, not the claimant's. In the majority of those cases, the person is still told to pay the money back regardless of whose error it was. Charities including Age UK have written directly to the Work and Pensions Secretary demanding this practice be changed by law. That campaign is still ongoing, and until the law actually changes, letters like this keep going out exactly as before. What almost nobody realizes is that you have the right to push back, formally and within a strict time limit. You have 1 month from the date of the decision to request what is called a mandatory reconsideration. If the mistake was entirely the DWP's, you can argue that recovery should not happen at all. Alongside this, new bank monitoring powers came into force this year under fresh fraud and error legislation. Banks are now required to flag any account where the balance crosses £16,000 for pension credit or housing benefit claimants. If your savings ever went above that line and you did not report it, a letter may already be on its way to you. Report any change in savings, income, or address now, before the system finds it for you and calculates months of backdated debt. Fourth, and this affects close to 4 million people, the rules around personal independence payment reviews have just been rewritten. Some claimants were previously reviewed every 9 months, even when their condition had zero realistic chance of improving. That review window has now stretched to 3 years for most existing claimants, rising to 5 years at the next check. On the surface, that sounds like nothing but good news, and in most cases, it genuinely is. But here is the part almost every video on this topic leaves out entirely. The obligation to report a change in your condition still runs in both directions, not just one. If your condition has worsened, your award does not update itself, you have to actively request a review. Stay silent, and your payment simply freezes at its current level, no matter how much your daily life has changed. If your condition has improved, and you fail to report it, you fall straight into the overpayment trap covered earlier in this video. Whichever direction applies to you, pick up the phone and speak to the DWP directly. Do not wait for them to call first. So here is exactly where things stand as of the 15th of August 2026. The state pension age begins its climb from 66 to 67. Check your exact date using the GOV UK calculator. HMRC's simple assessment letters are already arriving. Note the January 2027 deadline and challenge any figure that looks wrong within 60 days. DWP overpayment letters are going out even for the department's own errors. Request a mandatory reconsideration within 1 month if this happens to you. Bank monitoring is now active for pension credit and housing benefit. Report any change in savings before the system reports it for you. PEEP reviews have been relaxed, but the reporting duty has not. Update the DWP the moment your condition genuinely changes. None of these 4 changes are optional to understand, and none of them wait for you to catch up in your own time. Knowing exactly what is coming is the only real advantage you have against a system built on paperwork and deadlines. Subscribe now, because I track every single one of these changes the moment they happen, before the letters even land. And send this to a parent, a grandparent, or anyone you know drawing a UK pension, because one shared video can save someone real money.